evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Robbie's World of Sports right here on Facebook. If you're checking out on YouTube, Twitch, and any other social media platform out there, you can catch it all at Robbie's World of Sports right here. We're going to get the show started here in about any minute right now, so I'm just preloading a lot of stuff into the system, so give me about a couple minutes, and we're going to start live in about 3 minutes, so hang in there tight. Oh, there it goes. All right. It's 5 o'clock. I'm Robbie Lopez with your Sports Town update powered by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beeroundhere.com. Breaking news, USA Today's Bob Nightingale broke the story that White Sox free agent first baseman Jose Abreu has agreed to a deal with the Houston Astros. The two sides were finalizing an agreement. Nightingale reported it is expected to be a 3-year deal worth $60 million. It was a soggy and rainy Sunday in New Jersey, and it didn't get any better for the Chicago Bears, who lost their 5th game in a row of the season to the New York Jets, 31-10. Things got worse for the Bears as they were hit with the injury bug, losing wide receiver Darnell Mooney, who left the third quarter with an ankle injury, and he is now out for the rest of the season. Safety Eddie Jackson injured his foot in the second quarter. Next up for the Chicago Bears is the rival team, the Green Bay Packers, at Soldier Field on Sunday, kickoff at noon. Bulls head out west to continue their West Coast trip. Bulls look to take on their old friend Lauri Markkanen, who they drafted back in 2017. Alex Caruso is questionable with a sprained ankle for tonight's game. Bulls tip off against the Jazz at 8 p.m. in Salt Lake City. Another Chicago team that has a losing record that hit an all-time low 7-game losing streak. The Chicago Blackhawks, after another disastrous performance last night to the Winnipeg Jets, lost 7-2 at the United Center. After the game, a team held a 15-minute players-only team meeting. Next game for the Chicago Blackhawks is on Wednesday against the Edmonton Oilers at the UC. Puck drop at 7:30 on TNT. U.S. men's soccer team takes on Iran in a must-win matchup tomorrow. Team USA will need everything they got to beat Iran, who got beat by England 6-2, then turn around in their next matchup to beat Wales 2-0. USA tied with Wales in their first matchup, then tied England in their second matchup. USA must win or go home tomorrow. Kickoff for this matchup is scheduled for 1 p.m. on Fox. This has been your Sportstown update. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday here in the studios. I'm Robbie Lopez with today's show, Robbie's World of Sports. You can catch it live on SportsTownChicago.com. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, thank you all for tuning in. We've got a lot to talk about in this hour that I have here. Let's get this show started. Those Bears, they lost another one in a rainy, soggy day in New Jersey to the New York Jets. 31, they got thumped, 31-10. We're going to get into all the details of that coming up. But let me know if you guys are listening. Go ahead and follow me all at Robbie's World of Sports. You catch all my social medias, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. It's good to be back here. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. I know it was a long and restful holiday weekend. A lot of football was played over the weekend. And again, we're going to start off with the Chicago Bears in their horrendous loss. No Justin Fields this game, but we definitely lost a couple more players to the injury bug. As I stated in my update, Darnell Mooney is out for the rest of this season. It's a heartbreaker. He was possibly our best receiver, but he's no longer with the team. So now all the attention turns to Chase Claypool. We'll see what this guy's got and what we paid for. But yeah, let's cue this up. Because it's a sad day in Chicago. But hey, I'm not seeing this as a sad day here in Chicago, because you know why? I'll tell you why, guys. Even though we're losing, it's good for us. It's good for the Chicago Bears. The reason why I'm saying that is because just by looking at our losses, we now are sitting in the second position in next year's draft. So guess what, guys? That means that there's a good chance that we go out and get the top-rated defensive player out there. And right now, that defensive player is none other than a defensive player from Alabama. There's also some word of they're looking at Georgia's defensive star. that could be helpful for the Chicago Bears defense. They sure do need it. So hopefully, with all these losses, it's going to better us in the draft for next year. And for me, that's good news because we already, well, I don't know how much Bear fans are already throwing the towel in, but for me, I've thrown my towel in way before this season even started. But I can't wait till next year. They got some draft capital coming in. They got a lot of money coming in next year. So buckle up, everybody, because next year is going to be our year. Let's just lick our wounds today. This year. Let's just bury our heads in the sand like the ostriches, and just wait till. Let's just call it an early hibernation. Let's just go into early hibernation and come out next spring with a better roar. So that's what I'm looking for next year, is for this team to turn it around real quick. But let's talk about this year. That performance Sunday was just probably their absolute worst performance, even though we had backups. A backup quarterback in Trevor Siemian. I think he did a fantastic job. It wasn't a bad game for him, but 179 yards. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked twice. Montgomery couldn't really get it going. And, they were going up possibly a number. The Jets' defense is ranked number 6 this year. So they were going up a pretty good defense. And to put up 10 points against the Jets on a soggy day that it was, a lot of fumbles, a lot of miscues. But, hey, we kind of saw what the Bears' future was. And this year just didn't look right for me. Didn't look right. I just – now we know what this team is, means a lot. Justin Fields means a lot to this football team going forward, because we got a little glimpse of what this team is not, what it's not like with Justin Fields in our lineup. And then we just saw what type of performance that Bears put on with Justin Fields not in it. So, again, he is our future quarterback. And the Chicago Bears are going to do everything in their power to do this the right way. I hope that Ryan Poles does not pull a Ryan Pace stunt like he did back in, 2017, where they drafted up to go get Mitchell Trubisky. Probably goes down to as the worst draft pick in Chicago history. And if you guys think I'm wrong, go to my Facebook and type in a comment. Let me know if I'm wrong. If you think there was a way bad draft pick that we've used in the past, go to my Facebook. I'm streaming live. Let me know what you think our worst pick was in the drafts, in previous drafts. Because we possibly could be, right now, in the mock draft, we're sitting at number 2. The number 2 pick for next year's draft. Houston's got number 1. They're going to go quarterback. No, hands down, we already know what Houston's going for. They're going for a quarterback. The Bears have the 2nd pick. They better go get that defensive player that they desperately need. And I already gave you 2 top choices that they're already looking at. The Alabama guy and Georgia's defensive star. So keep your fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, Bears fans. Keep your fingers crossed that Poles knows what he's doing come next year. Because this is a whole different regime, a whole different team. They got a lot of money coming in next year, over $100 million next year on free agents, to go out and sign some quality free agents, veteran free agents, to come to this team and make this team the competitive team that it once was, so that way Because looking at next year, we don't know. There's question marks in Green Bay. Not much so in Detroit. It looks like they have found their identity. Look at this year. They've turned it around with Jared Goff, the draft picks that they've accumulated over the last couple of seasons. We're starting to see the future of the Detroit Lions. Look at the Minnesota Vikings, what they're doing, what they may continue to do with Kirk Cousins. So next year is our year to really hone in our identity for next year. Plenty of draft picks next year and plenty of good money out there. So I hope and pray, I hope every Bears fan prays every single day to make sure that Ryan Poles does the right thing come next year. Draft the right people. And then, hey, if the guy's not there and you feel like you want to draft down and accumulate more draft picks, by all means, do it for the right deal. Don't do it like Ryan Pace did, where he drafted up, gave all that draft capital to the 49ers, and we went and got a terrible quarterback. So, with that said, Ryan Poles is in for a good year next year. So that's my pick on that. That's my little rant for next year. But this year, there were some high hopes. I think a lot of people had high hopes for this team. We already knew what our quarterback was like. He's got a bright future here in Chicago. So let's find these pieces now and let's put this team together so that they can compete not just for next year, but for years to come. That's what I'm hoping for. This last night's game or yesterday's afternoon's game, we know how important Justin Fields is to this team. With him not in the lineup, with him being hurt with that shoulder, and with using our backups, we now know the importance of having Justin Fields on our squad. So, hopefully, by next year, this team is going to go further than previous years. I mean, next year, there's already rumors out there that we could possibly bring in Barkley. Now, I don't know if that's a good move or not. It's yet to flourish. It's yet to be seen. But the chances of him coming over are really high. I feel like the GM and the upper management really like what they see in Barkley. And maybe they do go out and get him. Well, what do you do with David Montgomery? Do you trade him? Do you trade him to get more draft capital for next year's draft? That'd be great. But then it would be awesome to kind of keep David Montgomery, and then you have a 1 and 2 that just, you use David Montgomery for your third downs and fourth downs, maybe goal line, and then you give Barkley majority of the bulk of the workload, where you use them for first down and second down. But that's remained to be seen. And we got our first commenter. If Raiders don't bring back Jacobs, or Miles Sanders will be a free agent. That's a possibility. Though Jacobs is still slated to be the Raiders' back running back. Miles Sanders is another free agent that could possibly be out there available. But hey, Saquon Barkley's out there, rumored to be coming to the Bears already. I don't know if that might be a good matchup or not, but it's still yet to be seen if that's a possibility. Could he fit in this? One, can he fit in the scheme of Matt Eberflus' system? Two, how much of a healthy guy is he now than he was back then? Because remember, he was hurt. He had that horrible knee injury. So how much of that is better? How much is that healed 100%? I mean, he's having a terrific year this year for the Giants. So, I mean, just from him playing this year, he looks like the old Barkley, like when he first came into this league. So that might be a good move. We don't know. We don't know until next year what Ryan Poles has up his sleeve. So it's going to be interesting. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right into last week's games. We're going to talk about some NFL matchups. What was your surprising upset last week? We're going to get into that next right here on Robbie's World of Sports. You're listening to. All right, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? How was everybody's Thanksgiving weekend? I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend with all their families. I had a great Thanksgiving with my family. A lot of turkey, a lot of ham, a lot of food. I was stuffed, but there were some good matchups over the weekend in the NFL. We had a couple upsets. The Las Vegas Raiders. The who else had that? Jacksonville beating Baltimore. That was a good matchup towards the end, and some other NFL games we'll get to. So stick around. We got that coming up, and then we're gonna finish it up with Monday Night Football, Colts versus Steelers. That should be. We don't know. We're going to find out later on tonight if it is going to be a good game. A lot of people are just not really anticipating this to be a good competitive game, I guess. We've got Colts that just are not coming off a good season. Everybody had this team, a playoff-bound team, and it just didn't went downhill from the beginning of the season. And then we got Pittsburgh. We'll see what Kenny Pickett does. And what he's learned over this whole year of being the Steelers. So we're coming back in about a couple minutes, 20 seconds right now. So stay tuned. We got NFL coming up next. Welcome back to Robbie's World of Sports. Yeah. You're listening to on SportsTownChicago.com. You're also watching live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all social media platforms, all at Robbie's World of Sports. Let's get into it. It was a sort of interesting games over the weekend and Thanksgiving Day weekend, I should say. A couple upsets. Who saw that Jacksonville Baltimore game? That was an upset. Who saw that Raiders game? Who saw Philly beat up on Green Bay? Rodgers is hurt. Is he going to be available come this weekend against the Bears? We're going to find out. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're listening or watching on Facebook Live, go ahead and comment in those sections what your favorite matchup was this past weekend. And if I got some time, I'll read those comments right here on the radio. But I'm going to give you my two picks that I thought were pretty good, interesting games to watch. And one of them I have mentioned already, the Baltimore Ravens against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That came down to the wire, and Jacksonville pulled it off, getting the last second touchdown. And then their head coach, Peterson, he's known to do this all the time. He did it in Philly. He said, let's do it. Let's go for the win. Let's go for the 2-point conversion. And that's what Jacksonville did. They pulled it off. They went and got 2 points conversion. Trevor threw it to his wide receiver for the catch. 2-point conversion completed. And Jacksonville pulls the upset. My other upset, I wouldn't necessarily upset, but Washington versus Atlanta. Atlanta was really favorites to win this game. But Washington, ever since they installed Heineke into the lineup, this kid is playing like his career is on the line. And I got to hand it to him. He's been playing like he's fighting for that starting job for the Washington Commanders. And I'll tell you, he's got my vote. He has my vote. He's proven me that he could be a starting quarterback. And if it's not going to be for the Washington Commanders, then some other team that is looking for a quarterback may need to look into this kid, Heineke, to bring him into their team, and hopefully he could do what he's doing with the Washington Commanders, because he is just putting out – he's putting a performance on. And that's what I like about people that don't have much to rely on. And people are like, don't believe in them. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to turn these doubters into believers. And I'll tell you what, he's got me believing in him. So those were my two teams. Let me know in the comment section what your teams were. I'm sure everybody had somebody losing. Arizona lost by 1 to the Clippers, or to the Clippers. Listen to me. LA Chargers. Our LA Chargers snuck out with a win against Arizona. Las Vegas beating Seattle. Seattle was favorites. Josh Jacobs had a huge game. Boy, did he have a huge game. Hey, shout out to Josh Jacobs out there. Thank you, buddy. You made me win my fantasy league this year. My fantasy team won this week. I got to stay in first place, and I was a little bit iffy on this week's fantasy. But huge shout out to Josh Jacobs. Thank you for putting on a big performance for me. A big shout out to my guys on my fantasy football team. Go come get some. Jason, Stevie, you guys are awesome. Love playing in your fantasy league. You guys are this is probably one of my best fantasy leagues I've been in. A lot of trash talking and a lot of, grown men stuff, I should say. I'm not going to say it over on the air, but it's fun. It's a fun league. So big shout out to them guys. Can't wait for the playoffs though. We got a couple more games left, and then we're getting right into fantasy football playoffs. So how's everybody else doing in their fantasy league? I know I'm sitting nice and pretty in first place right now, going into tonight's game. Still going to win this week. But next couple of weeks, I got some good matchups. But so finishing off, what was your picks? What were your not your picks? What was your game? And also, we're going to talk about. I got 4 more minutes, so let's talk about this coming up matchup. It's probably again one of the best rivalries we have in NFL. It's the Bears versus the Packers on Sunday at Soldier Field. Is the question going to be, is Fields going to be ready? Is Aaron Rodgers going to be ready? He's out right now with an oblique, some ribs. Is he going to be able to play on Sunday? Ooh, I hope so. I hope so. Because I want Aaron Rodgers to play so that way, if we do beat them, I'm not saying that we're owning you or anything like that. But if we win this game on Sunday, this could possibly be the turning point going into next year. Because like I said earlier, we don't know what the speculation is going into next year for the Green Bay Packers. Is Aaron Rodgers out? Or is he going to retire? Or is he going to demand a trade? That's the question going into next year. But for us this year, if Justin Fields is clear to play, do we start him or do we just say, you know what, we're already out of the playoffs. There's no reason for you to start this game. We've got 5 games left. Let's just sit you for the rest of the year, and let's really get you better and healthier for next year. Because he is dealing with a shoulder issue that, from listening to the press conference from Matt Eberflus, is he's still day-to-day. So they're basically taking their measures of reevaluating him each day. And if he's able to go on Sunday, is it a good idea for the Bears to start him, or should they sit him? Go to Robbie's World of Sports and let me know what you think the question or the answer is. Should they start him if he's healthy? And if he is healthy, do they start him or do they sit him? Because a lot is riding with him. We can't afford him to get injured even more. Because if all it takes is one bad hit, and whether it be on the same shoulder or his throwing shoulder, we cannot afford to lose this guy any longer than he's out now. So, by all means, Chicago Bears organization, by all means, see how he's feeling, and he's not feeling great, or if he is feeling great, I still sit him. Tell him, I know he's a competitive person, but we have to look out for you for next year. And we're just going to start Trevor Siemian for the rest of the year. So I hope that he's able to go. And if he is able to go, maybe you play him one quarter and then that's it. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have Monday Night Football right here on Sports Town Chicago. You're listening to Robbie's World of Sports. I'm Robbie Lopez with your Sports Town update powered by the Illinois Media School. The U.S. men's soccer team takes on Iran in a must-win matchup tomorrow. Team USA will need everything they got to beat Iran, who got beat by England 6-2, then turn around in their next match to beat the Wales 2-0. USA tied with Wales in their first matchup. Their next matchup, or then tied with England in their second matchup. USA must win or go home tomorrow. Kickoff for this matchup is scheduled at 1 p.m. on Fox. Another Chicago team that has a losing streak that hit an all-time low 7-game losing streak is the Chicago Blackhawks. After another disastrous performance last night to the Winnipeg Jets, losing 7-2 at the United Center. After the game, the team held a 15-minute players-only team meeting, and the next game for the Chicago Blackhawks is on Wednesday against the Edmonton Oilers at the UC. Puck drops at 7:30. Bulls head out west to continue their West Coast trip. Bulls look to take on an old friend of theirs, Lauri Markkanen, who they drafted back in 2017. Alex Caruso is questionable with a sprained ankle for tonight's game. Bulls tip off against the Jazz at 8 p.m. in Salt Lake City. It was a soggy and rainy Sunday in New Jersey, and it didn't get any better for the Chicago Bears team. They lost their 5th game in a row to the New York Jets, 31-10. Things got worse for the Bears as they were hit with the injury bug, losing wide receiver Darnell Mooney, who left the third quarter with an ankle injury, and he's now out for the rest of the year. Safety Eddie Jackson injured his foot in the second quarter. And next up for the Chicago Bears is their rival team, the Green Bay Packers, at Soldier Field on Sunday, kickoff at noon. Bob Nightingale of today's USA broke the story that White Sox free agent first baseman Jose Abreu has agreed a deal with Houston. This has been your Uptown Sports Town update, powered by the Illinois Media School. Oh my goodness, what's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's having a good Monday. It's good to be back in the studios. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We're going to be talking about Monday Night Football here. We got Colts versus Steelers. And I'm not really anticipating a good matchup this tonight. It might be a boring game, but we'll see. You know, we've had boring games this year, especially on Thursday night. A lot of teams weren't very competitive on Thursday nights. And we have another one that should be not that exciting, but hey, it's Monday Night Football, and as Americans, we love our football. So we're going to talk about that. And then to that Facebook user, thank you very much for chiming in. If the Raiders don't bring back Jacobs or Miles Sanders, will be a free agent. That's a good possibility. Good question. I like that. No. There you go. Thanks. Welcome back to Robbie's World of Sports. You're listening to on SportsTownChicago.com. What's going on, everybody? And happy Monday. That's right. It's Monday Night Football on ESPN. Tonight's matchup, we got the Indianapolis Colts versus Pittsburgh Steelers. This game is played in Indianapolis. And it's not much a good matchup. I'll tell you why. Because none of these teams are winning. Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-7, and the Indianapolis Colts are 4-6-1. But the experts out there are really saying that Indianapolis is going to win this game. 64% believe the Colts are going to win this game. I personally don't know who I have for this game, but I'm hoping that it could be a competitive one. Like I said before, we've had some games this year, especially on Thursday Night Football, that just has not panned out to be the competitive football games that we've been promised in the beginning of the season. But hey, this is football. We got to live with it, deal with it. But hey, it gives Kenny Pickett some opportunities to see what he could do with this team and hopefully kind of turn it around. We got Matt Ryan starting for the Indianapolis Colts, and he's not been on a good year this year. So, like I said, I have Colts possibly winning this game only because of their running back, Jonathan Taylor. I don't know why I said Davis, but Jonathan Taylor could have himself a good game this year or for tonight. So What is the money line? The money line is two and yeah, 2.5 points. The over and under is 39.5. I'll definitely take the under on this one. I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game. I don't think it's going to score over 40 points. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take the under on that. And then if you're taking the money line, it's plus 122 Pittsburgh, minus 145 Indianapolis Colts, and then plus 2.5 for Pittsburgh. I mean, if you're really going to bet on this game, ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there, if you're bettors out there, I definitely do the under on this one. I would take the money line for the Colts, but there's a lot of prop bets out there that I would probably lean towards on betting if I was putting some money on this game. Unfortunately, I don't have my betting cousin with me on the show today. He had some other things he had to do today. Hopefully, we'll get him back into the studio next weekend or next Monday, and hopefully he'll have some better prop bets for you guys next week. So I'm trying to do my best to kind of give you guys some betting odds out there, and yeah, I definitely, like I said, I'll take the under and over the under on this one. I'll definitely do the money. I bet the money line on that one. I probably would do Jonathan Taylor to score 2 touchdowns and rush over 75 yards. Let's see. I won't do the Matt Ryan one. I don't think he's going to have a game. That's the thing about betting, is that you got to know if he's going to have a good game or not. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't really have a good defense. Questionable is so their injury report, Robert Spillane, their linebackers are going to be questionable. Jalen Warren, their running back, is out. Witherspoon, their CB, is out. Miles Boykin is questionable. And then for Indianapolis Colts, DeForest Buckner is questionable. Kwity Paye is out. And some other of their defensive players are out, or questionable, I should say. So going into this game, Pittsburgh is giving up about 24.5 points per game. Colts are giving up about 20 points per game. They are giving Pittsburgh is giving up 387 yards, whereas Indianapolis Colts is giving up 323. So this, just by looking at that, I could possibly see this game going over for, 39? I would definitely take the over now. Just looking at those stats, I would take the over on the 39. Who knows? I mean, Jonathan Taylor, like I said, could possibly have 2 touchdowns, over 2 touchdowns. And then they're probably Pittman. Pittman can have 2. So if I was betting, I'd probably put my money on a 3 parlay. I would do the money line on Indianapolis Colts. I'd do Jonathan Taylor to have 2 or more touchdowns, and then I would take the Pittman over 70 yards and a touchdown. That's what I would do. That's what I would take. So if you're betting out there, ladies and gentlemen, and you're looking for a good prop bet, I would do that. Take the Colts money line, do the Jonathan Taylor 2+ touchdowns, and the Michael Pittman over 70 yards and a touchdown. I would take that bet. I probably put $20 after this show. If I make it home in time, I might go do that. I might go put $20 on that bet and see what kind of money I win tonight. So, what else we got? Oh, tomorrow we'll talk about. Or coming up next, we're going to get into the U.S. men's soccer team. Big game coming up tomorrow. They play Iran. And a lot of off the field, I should say. There's a lot of off the field talk going on among these two teams, especially the political side. I'm not going to get into that, but this is a serious game for the U.S. men's team. If they win, they're in. And if they tie or lose, they're out. But we're going to get into that coming up next, right here on Robbie's World of Sports. You're listening to on SportsTownChicago.com. A little too high. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Robbie's World of Sports. You're listening to and we're on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Robbie Lopez, your host, and we're going to get into our next segment, the U.S. men's soccer team. And if you haven't caught it yet, Friday, the men's played against England. And I happened to be at one of the watch parties here in Chicago at Navy Pier on that day. And I have to say, I was out there in a very festive mood. If you haven't looked, go ahead. There's a video clip of my interview I had with ABC7, WGN, and CBS. I got interviewed by all three TV outlets. And I have to say, I had a fantastic time. Wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be. Team USA did come out with a draw against England, which was good because a lot of people really thought England was going to give it to us. A lot of people had them beating us 3-0. I took USA 2-1, but none of that happened. Ended up tying 0-0. We took the draw. But this match coming up tomorrow is a very important one for the United States as they play Iran, which has led to a very political, I guess, a stunt that Iran is actually trying to get the United States thrown out of the World Cup because of an incident that happened when an Iranian journalist asked a U.S. men's player a question, and that person, I guess, had mispronounced something, and now Iran's country has come out and trying to get this game to be canceled, which I don't think FIFA's going to do it. There's too much on the line for both teams. I don't think it's going to happen. And it's basically because of something that was changed on the Iran's flag that was put up on social media. I guess Iran is having a little hissy fit now and trying to cause a lot of disturbance going on with the World Cup. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't appreciate another country trying to get involved in sports over something that's political. That has no room to be in the sports world. Politics needs to stay out of the sports world for everybody. Sports is a place where every human being has a right to cheer on for a team, a player, a country. I don't care where you come from. You have that pride to represent your country. And that should only be the case for that. Politics needs to stay out of the sports world. And I don't appreciate what this journalist may have said, but it looks, from what I'm reading, is that she followed up with his question with, the United States is one of the most racist countries in the world, and they may be right. They may be right. I don't know. Do you guys feel like we're one of the racist countries in the world? Possibly right now. But this is what I'm talking about, where politics needs to stay out of sports. Because when I watch sports, I watch it for the entertainment that it is, not for the politics that it wants to get into. That's got to stay sports needs to stay way, way, way away from politics. There's no room in the sports world for politics. But what this journalist did was an all-time low. Like, your comments towards our country should have none of your business. Like, what you guys do in Iran stays in Iran. And what we do here in the United States, obviously, the media, and it's all that's what it boils down to. Everybody, it's all media. It's all this media that wants the attention from these two countries. They want to start something. They want to bring it up, and they want to cause something. That's basically how I see it. They want to cause something. They want to stir something up. This can't be just about soccer. This can't be just about sports. No, let's get into it. Let's cause something. Let's stir it all up. Let's mix it into a bowl. And I'm telling you, this doesn't mix well. It's like oil and water. It doesn't mix well. And I don't like this. I don't like politics being in the sports world. I feel like there's got to be a line drawn. And a lot of the stuff that's happening, everyone is stepping over this line. And it needs to be drawn so that we don't have this. Because there's no place for this in the sports world. And honestly, I hope the United States do win this game to kind of just put the sour in the taste of the Iranians. That, hey, whatever you have to say about us, yeah, but we're still going to go out there and do what we do best, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to win this game. My prediction is going to be 2-1. And I really hope that the U.S. men soccer team can go in tomorrow, handle business, take care of business, represent us the right way with good sportsmanship, and really, really get into the heads of the Iranians so that way that all the pressure is on them, not on us. We know what we have with this team. And this year's World Cup, I have seen nothing but good things with this U.S. men's soccer team. Because going into that Friday's matchup against England, I thought England was going to dominate us. But that game, the United States men really showed what type of team what type of squad this team has. And they're very competitive. They look like they can match up with any team going forward. So if they advance, they could go in and compete on a competitive level with these other teams. This could possibly be a surprising team. Again, you got to remind yourself, this is the second youngest soccer team in the World Cup. So let's go handle business tomorrow, boys. Let's take care of business. Let's show the world what we are, what we're about, and let's go handle business. Let's advance to the knockout stage. And that's where the true competition comes into play, is when you advance to the knockout stage. It's no longer best out of 4 games. It's you play and then you advance. So let's get to the knockout round, and we're going to really see what this team is capable of doing come the knockout stage. Because I had them losing in the knockout stage in one of my brackets. And in the other bracket, I had them going a little bit further to the round of 16. I think that the knockout stage is the round of 16. I had them going to the 8 and then losing in the 8. But we're going to see what kind of team this is tomorrow. And like I said, the kickoff is at 1 o'clock on Fox. And it's going to be a really interesting game to see how they come out. Because that's going to determine the outcome of this game. How well do they come out in the first half? Because against the Wales, they had a great, strong first half, but then they kind of gave it away in the second half against the Wales. And then against England, they just played solid 2 halves. Like they didn't tail off towards the end like they did in the first matchup. They held their team, and there was good chances. There's some good scoring chances, not just for both teams. There was a lot of good chances that England could have won that game, and U.S. One particular that went off the goalpost. So it'll be really interesting to see. I can't wait for this game. I'm going to be paying close attention to this game, because we're going to see how well they come out in this game. And if they come out, hot, I think this team has a lot to go forward. So it's going to be interesting. That is it, ladies and gentlemen, for my show. I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in today. I hope you have a wonderful Monday. I hope a wonderful work week here. And thank you for everybody that tuned in to my Facebook Live post. Thank you for the comments. Again, I'm always here Mondays from 5 to 6 on sportstownchicago.com. You can also catch me on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all at Robbie's World of Sports. And I'll be right here next week, hopefully with some good news for the Bears. Let's pray for our Bears win. But again, let's not, because I want us to lose the last 5 games. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to lose 5 games because I want that second pick next year in the draft. Sorry, Bears fans. If you still had hope of us beating the Packers on Sunday, I'm not. I'm hoping that Fields is still hurt. They sit him for the rest of the year. Let's just go into early hibernation, like I said, and let's look forward to next year, because next year it's going to be a glorious year, I think. It all depends on what Ryan Poles does. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Again, I'm right back here next Monday, hopefully with some good news. If not, either way, win or lose, is going to be some good news. Thank you all. Have a wonderful Monday. And everybody watching on Facebook, have a wonderful time, a wonderful week. And thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you on the flip side, everybody. Take it easy. All right, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in to Robbie's World of Sports. I thank you again. Tune in next week. Every Monday, I'm right here at 5 o'clock on Facebook Live, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. Just go look for me on all my social media platforms, all at Robbie's World of Sports. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you again right here at 5 o'clock.